So, welcome to Shub Tech again. So, if you have been following me closely in my YouTube channel or on my social media, you might have known that I have been using this phone right here, CMF Phone 2 Pro, for past 14 days. Actually 12 days, but I'm gonna include 14 days because it is more round off, get clickbaited. But anyway, jokes aside, and I decided to make a little impression video for this. Thus, this video right here. I do wanted to point out though that this is not the review video. Okay, this is not final. This is just my impressions after using for 14 days. My review video will come out on 29th of June 2025. So do note that date in your calendar for sure. And yeah, I'm gonna explain everything that I've been experiencing so far with this phone right here. Before we proceed though, I wanted to discuss what is CMF. You might have been wondering that, okay, CMF, but what is CMF? CMF is the sub brand launched by Nothing, I believe, in 2023. Yeah, first they launched various type of audio products and such, but then they proceed to make CMF Phone 1, which was pretty banger, and this year they launched CMF Phone 2 Pro. So this is the gist of it you need to know. So let's get started with the real video. So CMF Phone 2 Pro. Also, this review will be raw and without any script. So this is my raw impression of this you're hearing right now. So let's start with the display, shall we? So the display is a 6.77 inch AMOLED LTPS display with 120Hz refresh rate. This is pretty edge-to-edge bezel-less. There are corners which are a bit thicker, but I would say that this is a great display. I would go as far as to say this is the best display in this segment because of this symmetric design and overall look of this. The fact that they have given us this clean bezel situation right here is really impressive in my honest opinion. And all of the specs of this display are pretty good as well. 120Hz is standard. It is actually, as they claim, is the same display from Nothing Phone 3. Fun fact. So this basically gave us another good display with this because Nothing Phone 3's display was incredible from my tastings. HDR works great. The video looks good, and all the basic stuff and advanced stuff it covers pretty well. The color reproduction is good, and I haven't encountered any overt saturation and those type of issue that I typically encounter from phones like Realme or Oppo. Like those type of phones, they have a vibrant visual mode, which is like a bit too much for me. I find the balance that this display gives me pretty adequate, and the color reproduction in this display actually doesn't hurt your eyes at any level. They claim to have a 3000 nit of peak brightness and 1100 nits of actual brightness, right? No, sorry, 1300 nits of actual sustained brightness. I find that claim pretty good, at least the 1300 part. I don't have any gadgets to test out their claim, but I will take their word for it. At least the 1300 part. I believe the 3000 nits is also true, but it is specific to HDR content on some spots of the display at a time, from what I think. Basically black background or low luminance background and a high luminance object in front of it. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's a pretty great display, and I haven't had any problem with this so far. Well, the display is good, but I cannot say the same with the speakers. This is where I'm the most disappointed with. I'm currently covering the entertainment aspect of it, and here the speaker lies, and I'm really disappointed honestly. It has a single speaker, not a dual one, a single, and the speaker they have provided us feels really cheap. I'll be frank with you right here. Even the 150% volume doesn't get enough volume.
If I told you, you'd think I was on the hooch. What?
Like my phone right here, phone 2A that I have right here, has better volume than this phone right here, and currently it is available at the same price. So I don't know. It has a extra camera, but I guess cost and stuff and all those stuff. The speaker is a massive downgrade from CMF Phone 1, from what I've heard as well. CMF Phone 1 had a single speaker as well, but I have heard that it was pretty decent and loud. This one has a 150% volume mode, but it sucks honestly. The sound comes out distorted on all, and will long term damage your speaker as well. So I don't recommend you use the 150% volume thing they have given to us. But I glossed over the best aspect of this phone. CMF, when it first started, uh, it started as a budget brand from nothing. They wanted to make their iconic design and their design capabilities to be provided in a budget, right? But the CMF has its own identity with their whole modularity aspect of it. Here you can unscrew all of them, but you can't remove the back cover. You used to be able to remove that in CMF Phone 1, but they haven't done that because they have taken a different approach to make it concealed. You will basically have a cover that they call universal back cover, which you can use to attach various accessories to it. I don't have that to demonstrate to you, but it goes great with the modularity aspect of it. And the overall normal part of the design is pretty good as well. It is pretty slim, light. I really like this part of this phone actually. It is so slim right here. Just look at it. And it is pretty good and lightweight. The buttons are plastic. It is made of plastic, but that's not a very bit of a concern. The design looks subjective. The design is always subjective, but in my opinion, the design looks good. And another part I am really impressed with is battery. They managed to give us 1.5 days of battery with this phone right here. It has a 5000 mAh of battery, but the optimization they have done with Nothing OS and the overall aspect of this makes this battery last like really long. I have heard some people though that has some issues, I guess, in terms of charging. I have to test that out. So apparently the 33-watt charger they have provided us with is a bit slow. I have to test those claims. And I have heard some people complain about the battery backup itself, claiming that this phone doesn't last long. But according to my testing, and I can show my results right here, the battery screen on time stuff, it's pretty good actually. And I'd go far as to say it is pretty fantastic.
Say that again?
Fantastic. So yeah, I really like the battery aspect of it. Now, the cameras. The main sensor is a 50 megapixel Samsung GN9 sensor. The 2x telephoto is an omnivision sensor, and the ultra wide is an 8 megapixel omnivision sensor. The 50 meg this 2x telephoto lens is also a 50 megapixel. Okay, the cameras are a bit difficult on this phone to like talk about. I have no complaint with the main sensor. Uh, It takes great photos, videos. It supports 4K 30 and 1080p 60, and photos. It looks pretty incredible with the main sensor at least. Um, but the ultra wide is a bit sucky, but it's understandable because it's a 8 megapixel ultra wide. Where I am the most disappointed though is the telephoto sensor they have provided us with. I think, in my honest opinion, it is a bit too blurry. Like the you'd see some of the samples that I'm providing to you guys. Uh, it looks very grainy, even in good condition. Bit, smudgy. Has that smudgy look. I have ensured that this camera is pretty clean at that moment, and all those jazz, but still it had those issues. Also, I think most of the issues with telephoto lens can be mostly attributed to the autofocus issues it has, because trust me, it doesn't like to focus on stuff pretty well. It doesn't like to you can't just tap and focus because it struggle, it breathes, it has a lot of focus breathing issues. And yeah, that's why most of the photos that I take comes out blurry, because I think 50 megapixel sensor does its jobs when it decides to focus, like these shots right here. As you can see, the shots looks pretty clean and there is no blurry issues. Most of the blurry issues that I have faced is close on portrait modes shots, where the 2x telephoto doesn't focus at all. I would have to taste a bit more. Maybe there is some qualities that I'm missing with this, but with my initial tasting, the the best camera is definitely the main sensor. What they should have done, in my opinion, because phones are like Lego bricks. Uh, they should have taken out the 2x telephoto sensor and improved the speaker. I'm not saying that they should have given the dual speaker. If they could have afforded it, they of course should have. But if they wanted to give us a single speaker, it should have been a better quality. I think cropping through the main sensor is a good alternative to it, because the main sensor is good enough in this space, and people generally nowadays prefer 3x or more. It is good that they have given us a telephoto sensor, and it is pretty rare in this budget. But yeah, well, that's my honest feedback. Honestly, if nothing is listening, please, if you can, please tune the software a bit more regarding the cameras, because uh, for some reason the 2x telephoto sensor, again I'm repeating my point all over again, is a bit blurry. Also, it has autofocus issues as well. Like, I keep tapping and tapping and tapping, but it cannot for the life of it focus on the goddamn object. Yeah, cameras are a bit disappointing to me. Selfie is possible, good. If you want to take group selfies, there is a wider FOV for it, and all those basic jazz that you want. Performance in regarding of that, actually, I haven't played any games on it. I'm a terrible tester, honestly. But no, uh, in my serious opinion, uh, the performance in this phone should be pretty good. I have no problems of heating issues with this phone during social media usage or light gaming. Yeah, and it was pretty stable. The battery depletion was not like alarming and such, and the performance itself was pretty good. It has a Dimensity 7300 Pro processor. It is a small improvement over CMF Phone 1, but it is basically the same processor. So the same performance you'd expect from CMF Phone 1 reflects back to this phone right here. Fun fact, BGMI runs 120 FPS on this phone right here. It doesn't even run 120 FPS on my goddamn Nothing Phone 2A, which has a better processor than this. I know naming scheme can be a bit too tough, but it has a bit better processor than this. Yet it runs BGMI at 90 FPS, whereas it runs at 120. Give us 120 FPS on phone 2A. Come on, at this point. If you want gaming, I think this is a good phone. I have to test out Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and other demanding games in this phone, and I would cover more of these topics in my full review, which you shouldn't miss honestly, because I'm putting everything in me on that review. I'm claiming right now, touch wood, it will be the best review that I have ever produced in this channel. So don't miss though. Don't miss. Anyway, on my overall impression of this phone, I'd say if you don't use camera as much, mainly use the main sensor and occasional macro shots with telephoto, which is reliable. If you use 50 megapixel mode, the shots do come sharp that way. Uh, then and if you want a good performance phone in this budget especially, and a good battery, I think this is a great phone honestly. Like, I really like this phone right now. I have to test it more. I am not giving my verdict right now, so take my words and hold on to it. Don't execute on it. Okay. Uh, Watch my full review. I will be explaining a bit more to it. And yeah, thanks for listening to my yapping.